calling from John's Real Estate, just giving you a quick follow-up after the inspection you attended at 24 Smith Street. Did you have a quick minute?
Yeah, Chloe. Yeah, sure. I had a quick minute.
Great. You recently came through the property at 24 Smith Street. Just checking in
Yeah.
your thoughts. Did it feel like a good fit, or are you still
Um,
exploring other options?
yeah, I'm still exploring other options, but I definitely was intrigued by 24th Smith Street for sure.
Gotcha. Sounds good. What's most important to you in your next place location? Space, price range, or something else?
The price range I think was very reasonable for that place. Yeah, that's something I definitely would look for.
Thanks for clarifying. Are you looking to move in the next month or two, or is this more of a longer-term plan?
Yeah, I'm actually looking to move in this month, if that's possible.
Got it. That's helpful. Are you already pre-approved, or still sorting out the finance side?
Yeah, I'm actually pre-approved already, but thanks for asking.
Good to hear. How about you come by for another inspection to make sure you can see everything you want? Would you like me to check the next available time for 24 Smith Street?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. That is what I'm about to talk to you in this video, how this right here has the potential to getting you on average another 5 leads a day. And I'm going to show you the 5 ways that that's possible. So we're not talking about ChatGPT here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about a completely different solution. What I've created myself and what you can use and what you should be using, which is called an AI agent. They're autonomously making decisions on our behalf, and as you see, actually prompted me and called me in a very natural human sounding way. Nothing like the Philippines or another accent that you can't understand. That was clear as day. And it can even send emails, book inspections, or call me, which is what I demonstrated. Now, how can you actually use this into practice is the big question that I get asked a lot. And how can we actually turn rough leads or pieces of data on the database or a CRM and actually turn them into gold? I want to show you what you might be using. If you ask ChatGPT, can you call my leads for me? It's simply going to say this. I can't personally do it, can do it for you. And imagine going from this to this, which is a complete qualification of all the inspections from the people that walk through your open home. That's right, of everything. And I'll show you that right now. Here is my platform, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it tells you who you've called. And if you click on this, it'll actually give you a full transcript and who called you and who it was, how long it was. And you can even slide the duration here so that you can get straight to the hot leads and not look at the ones that hung up straight away. So if that couldn't get any better, I'm actually going to show you 5 different ways on how you can do this and implement this yourself into your business or even as a solo agent so that you can crush your competition and become the best agent in your office. The first one is data enrichment or data cleanup. Do you have thousands of pieces of data on your database? Well, imagine seeing something like this where there's blanks, missing pieces of data, and this could be turned into gold, but you just don't know it yet. And that's why I want to show you on this video how I just did at the start. Make that call. So imagine going from this to this, clean data, John Smith, email, phone number, and even their address. And the best part about it is that it can call in the thousands, not the hundreds, not the tens. It can call in the thousands of people, and it can clean data so quickly that you could not humanly do it, even if you tried. So what are the pros and cons of this? Well, I've actually broken this down into use and easeability of actually getting started. So this is going to reduce the data. And what I see the top performing real estate agents do is they only have 500 to 1,000 people on their database, right? Those are the top performing 10 people in my country, in my state. And they want to have that database slim as possible so they really have a one-on-one personal connection. So when people give me the objection, well, hey, Dante, I really don't like AI because it's not giving you the human touch as you would. But in fact, it's quite the opposite, because what you're doing is you're filtering out those people that aren't close to you or aren't going to sell their house anytime soon and don't even know a bar of soap with you. This is actually going to close this down and get you better data and closer relationships. It's also going to save your team time, administrative work, and no more agencies. I remember when I first was starting my business, and I remember people that would pay $8,000 just for them to clean their database. Now that is very expensive, and that's nowhere near the cost. It's actually a fifth of the cost. So if you upload all your contacts, the one thing I do suggest is you have to make sure that you formatted them correctly. Also, you might have to delete older contacts, which the AI can actually do if you have a CRM. And obviously, uploading duplicates can become a problem, but this is just a teething thing. And once you get used to it, it really pays off itself. Number 4 is, as you saw before with my phone, was the open inspection. Now, this is something that junior real estate agents actually do for their bosses, and what I did myself personally, and what I see a lot of people doing, which is the part of the job, right? And the thing is that this is time consuming and this shouldn't be part of your day. As a real estate agent, you have very little time and resources to get your job done. But that's where AI comes in. So imagine having this huge list of leads and you not having a lot of time, right? But what if that could all be done for you? And as you saw, it was done. So imagine weekends of callbacks never happening again. Well, the funny thing is people reckon that AI is here for the future. AI is here in the present. So what are some basic pros and cons to this, and what should you look out for when actually using this? I know in real estate, people want to make sure that they legally can do this, and they want to make sure the safety of their customers is not in jeopardy, which is completely understandable. So let me walk you through that. Well, weekends as a real estate agent has changed because now you get your time back. And like I've said, AI is going to do this administrative work so you can get to the one-on-one personal service that every real estate agent dreams of doing. And I reckon that within this year, that's going to get closer and closer so that you can really service your clients. On top of this, it'll only call back the hot leads, or you can get back to the hot leads. So what I mean by that is that if you filter and qualify all this using AI, and it gives you only 2 or 3 or 4 clients that are really interested, you can follow those ones up. And your productivity, obviously with time equals money, soars, because your productivity will be way better than your competition. Some cons that I must put it as a disclaimer is obviously there's some setup time required. If you want to put this on your phone, you do need to purchase a number, and obviously if you have this as an assistant, or if you're going inbound and outbound, this can be very different. But I would say that there's very little downside and a lot of upside. So next is actually what is called the phone assistant. So unlike what I've showed you before, if I actually call this number back, and if you actually see, this will happen.
Please note this call may be recorded. Hello, thank you for calling.
Just an example of what would happen if I called the number back. So imagine when you wake up, you wouldn't have a list of missed calls. You would have completely clean, message-free phone where you can really focus once again and funnel down those leads and really be slim in your operations. So I call this a personal assistant. And instead of having a VA in the Philippines that, yes, it's labor, sometimes they're sick, sometimes they don't work, this is working 24 hours for you. And it's also going to call the leads as soon as humanly possible or get back to them. Something that if they were to call a person that is looking to sell their property and they go to John's Real Estate and then Smith's Real Estate, the first one that picks up is actually the one that they are going to choose. Why? Because it's a human bias, right? The first one that calls me back is the first one I'm going to listen to, because, hey, if they're not even going to return my call and get back to me as soon as possible, then why would I call them back? So it's also going to close leads. So this can actually even close leads on anything from like Facebook ads. It can follow up on that, which is insane. And like I said, works 24/7. Once again, it's probably about a week's worth of setup, but I've slimmed that down into seconds because I'm automating my platform for real estate agents. And also this works with people who understand ads. So like I said, if someone fills in a lead form or a lead form on a landing page, or even if it's a realestate.com and they've filled some paperwork out, you can call them straight away and follow up and say, hey, I saw you inquired about 24 Smith Street. And like you saw on that call before, it's going to do the exact same thing. So there's many ways you can do it. All right. Number 2, I actually find this is more beneficial than most people realize. And I'll tell you why. Imagine if you run a real estate company, you're a brokerage, and you are the first person as an admin person or a receptionist that the company sees. And I agree, it is one of the most important jobs because you are the face of the company. Now, what happens when you hear this? and you wait 30 minutes just to get on the line. Sales, booking inspections, maintenance, sales pitches, right? It is a headache. But with AI, it solves all of that, as you can imagine. And there's really no downside to this. First of all, people are getting their questions answered 24/7, 365. If you call it, it's going to answer it. There's going to be no delay, no waiting. That's something that other agencies can't even offer because that's customer service. And you might be saying, oh, but it's not a human. Well, does it really matter? At the end of the day, all they really want is information or getting help with booking an inspection. Like I said, this has the capability of handling hundreds of thousands of people, and you will never miss a detail. So the AI inbound caller is going to ask me for my name, he's going to ask me for the property, and he's going to ask me when I would like to book the inspection for. Okay. It's also going to make sure that you stay on top of calls, and I've even put on my platform an accountability to say, hey, has this call been answered? Is it new? Or has it been resolved? Okay. And that's where customer service comes in. I reckon that customer service, and it is a statistic that 80% of customer service will be done by AI. So does it get better than this? Well, of course it does. And this is everyone's favorite part of the job, right? Cold calling. Now, cold calling is probably one of the hardest parts of being a real estate agent. It's scary, it's terrifying, but guess what? It brings results. When I was cold calling myself for my business, and I'm saying this from experience, it is a numbers game. And you know, and I know that it's a numbers game. So why would you get personal and touchy about it when you know that it's just volume? Pick the phone up, right? You call them, they don't answer. You go to the next one, right? That's not a connection. I mean, it's straight to the sales, straight to the money, and you get straight to the point. So what if you didn't have to do hundreds of calls a day, burn yourself out, and actually get real results? Well, that's why it's my personal favorite way of using it. And if you want to put in perspective, how many calls can a human make? Well, roughly 50 to 100 calls a day. That's being realistic. With my platform, you could do 1,000 plus calls per day. Now, most people that I speak with, or brokers, they have tens of thousands of contacts. That is a lot of contacts. If we're talking about time, which as a real estate agent, you do not have, that's a lot. Now,
how are you?
I want to give a little story of when I first started with my first agency. And we did this with not even 1 to 2 weeks of setup and getting this started for them. And getting 5 leads a day is easy if you're calling people by the hundreds of thousands, okay? If you're calling these people, you're going to get more than 5 leads, and I guarantee you that. It's just that no one is willing to call the entire database because, one, it's physically not possible, and two, the money is just doesn't add up. With AI, it's cheaper and it's quantity, right? That's what I find personally, is that it's quantity, but also quality, because it's a native accent, whether that's American, British, or Australian.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Great.
Well,
I'm sorry if I cut it. I had you down as someone interested in buying. Have you found anything yet?
no, not at this stage currently.
Did you still have an appetite to purchase?
I'm thinking, but I haven't got an approved loan yet. I'm still working on it.
Okay, great. Have you purchased in the Taylor's Lakes area before?
What I want in Caroline Springs.
Great. What I'd love to do is to come and see yours, as it will give me a great idea on what you're looking for in the next one. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. What's the address for that one again? Great. How would tomorrow 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. work for you?
Not this week, probably the next week. Pretty.
Great. I'm available for either 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. Which one suits you?
Which one? Which day? Next week?
Okay, how about next Tuesday at 6 p.m.? Does that work for you?
Next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Yeah, should be alright.
Okay, I look forward to meeting you, Edra Muni. See you there. Bye for now.
So if you notice, there's 3 important things here. This person that we called was not for an open inspection. This was some guy random on the database, and actually was called Orphan data, which is data that nobody pretty much owns, okay? And we've called this guy, and it was out of the blue. He didn't do an inspection. He's probably not talked to us for more than a year plus 3 years, okay? And this was done in less than 2 weeks. It only took me 200 calls to get 1 inspection, which is what happened here. And at 6 p.m., they actually inspected the property, listed it, and sold it. So if that doesn't bring a return on investment, I don't know what does. And that's the reality, is that we're still in the early stages of AI. And I understand people say there's teething problems and I don't think this is ethical. Let me tell you something. I get it that, I'm all for this and I'm an optimist. But sooner or later, this is going to become a standard practice. I don't believe that there's any way that we're going to go backwards from this. And if this means that we can send a message across faster and help our clients as a business, then why wouldn't we use it? So if you never want to chase your leads again and you want your leads to come back to you and simply go call the leads that are actually interested instead of wasting your time with tire kickers, then I've actually left a link below to have a meeting with myself to see if we can help you and if Agent Flow could be beneficial to you. Now, I understand you've probably looked at multiple solutions, but I'm dedicated to the real estate industry and I've helped both property managers and real estate agents. And trust me when I say this, it is for the better and it is going to help you and your team out so much. And the output of productivity is going to be immense. If that sounds like something that you would be interested in, there's no obligation. It's completely free. I would love to talk to you, see how we can help, and maybe you can try out Agent Flow, and I'd be happy to see you. If you like this video, please subscribe because I understand for me that you guys want more content and it's actually going to help you and I bring value to your day. That's all I want in these videos. And my current startup, I'm trying to help more and more real estate agents. And the way to do this is filming YouTube and reaching that wider audience, which is you guys. So if you think that any value was added to your day, please subscribe and leave a like. And I've also got that link. Thank you.